Bum 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 bum. The Peter Like Show. Bum 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 bum. All right, I'm asking for you to pray for my continued healthy relationship with food. I've been having a little bit of struggle with a relapse in my eating disorder. This I want to say since the beginning of this year, and I know why I've been having such a hard time. I This year I've been networking with a lot more people than I had been in years past. Let me elaborate a little bit. I had a really rough summer last summer because I was all alone during the heat wave, and I vowed at the beginning of the year to mingle with as many people as possible, not necessarily just to make romantic connections, but I distinctly remember how scared to death I was that I was going through the hot summer and I had nobody to pick up the phone and call, and that was scary. And I made it a rule of thumb that, and I kind of broke that rule of thumb, we'll get to it in a second. I made it a rule of thumb that I would treat my world like it were an 8 billion person speed dating event, right? Always at least introduce myself and all that. I did break that rule one time last week. What had happened was I was staying in a hostel and I decided to completely ignore this guy because I was so lost. Actually, there was an ulterior two reasons I wanted to ignore this guy. I was lost and kind of wanted to. I didn't want other people to be okay around me. Basically, kind of a revenge situation. The other reason is that a few months before that, I was at a party and I wanted to make a move on this girl, but she didn't even look in my direction for even a millisecond. And that really bothered me because I thought if she even looked, there was a chance that she might like me. I mean, not a high chance, but a chance, right? I didn't even get the glory of having that one in a million chance, just like on Dumb and Dumber, right? And so I was upset, and I wanted to see what the proper reaction is if somebody ignores you. I wanted to see how this guy would react, so I could maybe use it. I like doing that. Sometimes I set up situations because I don't know how I would react to it. Sometimes I use it as a like a little bit of a like a social science experiment, right? You can kind of think of it that way, right? Kind of like treating the world like it's a laboratory and doing a experiment in social science, except sometimes the experiments blow up at you, right? Somebody gets angry at you. You can treat it like, imagine you were trying to extract a new element that you discovered, and a lot of bad things could happen, right? It could blow up on you, it could poison you, give you cancer, right? Sometimes a social science experiment can do that too, right? Unfortunately, that's what happened. The guy screamed at me. Long story short, I ended up having to cut the vacation short because of hostilities like that. But um, so, uh, but yesterday I had another wake up call. What had happened was I had gone to a party. Actually, I was hoping to see that girl again at the party. Now, the party was kind of interesting. What had happened was it was at a restaurant, a buffet restaurant. I wanted to make sure it would work with me. I have food allergies. So I got to the restaurant about 20 minutes before the party to ask some questions, and it was all good. I asked them where the party would be, make sure we have enough seating and all that. I was trying to get a sense of the layout so that I would know where to sit to be near the girl. And there was a little bit of a problem, though. There were going to be 25 people at the event, and it was a birthday party. And unfortunately, it was spread out across 4 or 5 tables. And that created a little bit of conflict. I was thinking, if I sit down right now and wait for them, what if the girl ends up sitting at a different table? Now I have to get up to move closer to her. It's going to look odd, right? But if I come in 5 minutes, 10 minutes late, the seats next to her might be taken, and so I was thinking about that. And I even talked to the waiter. I told the waiter, "Hey, thank you for showing me around the food. There's another thing I want you to help me with." He said, "What is that?" And I explained the situation with the girl, and he suggested that I come with him because he had a spot behind like they had like stages, and sometimes they like to do karaoke and all that I hide behind one of the stages so I can watch people as they come in, and they won't be able to easily see me, and then I can watch for the girl to come in. and that was really nice of him. I want to say he's in his mid 20s, and from the way he described how to do this, it sounded like he had done something similar at some point in his life. So it gave me a nice, warm, fuzzy feeling, almost like brothers helping each other out. It was a very nice, warm, fuzzy feeling. Unfortunately, as people started arriving, I overheard that the girl wasn't going to be coming. She was busy studying. She's still in school, and so that was all right. I got to talk to her mother, and things went okay, I would say. I fell short of asking her mom about whether or not she would be interested in me, though. I figured that could wait a little bit. But they're from the Philippines. I'm going to be working on a Lego build of Coconut Palace in the near future because the last couple of times I had a crush on a girl, I built something near her home country, and it went very well. So actually, go look at my Lego submissions. Of all three of them started like that. But anyway, unfortunately, something happened. I went to go grab some food, and there was some sashimi. It looked very good. Unfortunately, the plates were nowhere nearby. I had to wait for them to clean up some of the plates, and I I just got this huge surge of anxiety. There's something about that always bothers me. When food is nearby, I'm this close to it, and something stops me. Whether dishes are not available, or 2 months ago, I had an argument with my roommate because he was running his mouth over a bunch of nonsense. Now, what was really tragic about that argument with my roommate was I don't know what happened. I misplaced my headphones. Now looking back at it, I think he hid my headphones because he was very upset that every time he wanted to talk to me, I would put my headphones on. Because when I moved out, all of a sudden my headphones conveniently reappeared. Three sets of headphones that had disappeared conveniently reappeared. But getting back to the story, when I'm this close to my food and something stops me, that's when I tend to get very angry, right? So, for example, I go on vacation, I get off the plane or arrive in the city. There's a favorite restaurant I like to go to, and then for some reason I can't get to it. I had a funny story like that. I was flying from Seattle to, I was going to Europe that time, Amsterdam for a conference. I had stopped at Detroit Metro Airport. There's a favorite sushi place that works with me in terms of my food allergies. One of the few places I can eat there. I got off the plane at Detroit Airport and I go to the sushi place and they're closed for some bizarre reason. Can't seem to remember the circumstances. This was before COVID. It wasn't COVID related. Uh, and I got lost and confused and I wandered around the airport looking for other suitable food. And while wandering around the airport, I accidentally exited security. And so I was really late getting back in through security, and the flight attendant was so upset at me. They had been calling my name a couple of times, and the flight attendant was so upset at me. And when I explained that I was lost looking for food because my favorite sushi place was, she was even more upset at me. But I think part of the reason that yesterday, I mean, granted, I quickly recaught my breath after I felt the within 30 seconds I was back to normal again. But it was a big wake up call that under lesser circumstances that could have played out very differently. I've had times where I've really blown up on people and gotten myself kicked out of things or lost jobs over it. And it was a good wake up call that I'm not as strong as I thought I was. Now, granted, the circumstances yesterday were already very heightened because of the situation of hiding out to look for that girl and all that. But it still goes to show that I don't know why I get very edgy when I'm getting ready for my food. Imagine I was just about to dig in and something happened at the restaurant, right? A fire broke out or any number of things that could cause you to have to change your plans, right? Somebody calls me, there's an emergency of some sort, right? Right, a death in the family. Yesterday had my family called me and said that a family member had passed away. I probably would have still continued with that meal. That's how I am with my food, unfortunately. It's kind of tragic when I look at I've had times when I've continued meals despite a lot of other stuff going around. Maybe not a family member passing away, but you get the idea, right? This is the Peter Like Show. Bum 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 bum. The Peter Like Show. Bum 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 bum.